Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for a Healer Within Facebook Live practice sampler session. These practices have been a fantastic way to keep our community connected, to make connections all over the country and sometimes the world, and really get people practicing together, staying up, staying moving, and hopefully staying healthy. For more online practice opportunities, including those offered by our presenter today, please check the list of virtual practice groups, or VPGs, on our website, which is healerwithinfoundation.org. You'll find that list group tab at the top of our homepage, and I will let you all know that we've added several new virtual practice groups. So if you have not looked at the list in a while, there is some new information there for you. Our practice leader today is Jill Robinson. She is a Qigong teacher and IIQTC community practice leader based in the Los Angeles, California area. She is a first-time volunteer here on the live practice samplers, and we are delighted to welcome her, and we are excited for her session today. Jill, I'm going to bring you to the forefront here, and I believe we're about ready to begin, and it is all yours. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Christy. Great to be here today. My name's Jill. I'm a Qigong teacher in the LA area. And today I want to do a practice with you all that I call the Qigong of the animals. Just a couple of PSAs before we start. If there's anything that we do today that you need to modify the movement, smaller range of motion, sit down versus standing, please feel free to make any kind of modifications that you might need to make so that this practice is more comfortable for you. We're going to be starting off with a centering breathing practice. After we do our centering, we're going to do just a little bit of what we call discovery. We kind of tune in to where we are today with our bodies, what's feeling good, and what we need to take care of. And then we're going to move through 4 animal movements, and that will be our Qigong of the animals today. So let's just start with a centering. You can have your feet together. You can have your feet slightly apart, whatever's comfortable. Just going to breathe in as we inhale. Breathe out, exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, exhale. This time, I'm going to breathe in, exhale, the hands float down. In our centering, we want to bring together the body, the breath, and the mind. So for the body, we're noticing sensation, checking in with our posture. And bringing softness to anywhere we feel any kind of tension. For the breath, we slow it down. We breathe easy. We breathe deeply. We relax our breathing. Exhale, sinking down. For the mind, we let it go. Let go of planning, expectations. Just allow ourselves to be here in the present moment. Just going to continue long, easy inhales, even longer exhales as we sink down. There are lots of animal Qigong forms that you may know about, maybe you practice. And we can learn a lot from these animal movements, not just the wonderful balance and agility and gracefulness of the movements themselves, but we can learn the strategies that animals use. Animals, just like us, have a lot of stress in their life. They have the fight or flight or freeze response. But we know that animals don't seem to develop ulcers or have heart disease or experience depression from all of this stress. And they have a lot of embodied strategies for dealing with the stress, releasing that embodied tension and stress, and shifting into a more rejuvenating, restful state. So we're going to take a cue from the animals today and try to learn some of their strategies. Deep breath in and let the hands float down. Let's look down to the floor, stretch out the neck a little, look up to the sky, look to the right, look to the left, continuing your deep, easy breathing, back to the right again, back to the left. Make some small circles with our shoulders. Just getting in tune with how we're feeling today, loosening up anything, letting go of any tension if we can. Shoulders and neck are a place where we store a lot of tension, embodied stress. So let that go. And then we're going to sink down, sitting into a kind of a nice seat here, sinking down. Knees are pointing out to the sides and just swinging at the waist. We're going to let our arms go from one side to another as if our arms are heavy ropes. And we're going to just let that go. And then we're going to do a little bit of shaking. And this is one of the primary strategies of animals. They shake it off. And if you have a cat or a dog or any other kind of pet, and you've seen them get scared, freak out a little bit, and then shake it off, you've seen this strategy. And just shake the hands as if you're shaking off some water, feeling that all the way to the fingertips, shaking through the wrists, shaking down to the elbows, and then up all the way to the shoulders. It's really just shaking that all out. As if your limbs were just made of seaweed, they're loose. Maybe they're as loose as a jellyfish. And just be fluid and shake that all out. You can shake out a foot if you want, shake out the other foot, shake the leg. Then you kind of bounce a little bit, just tapping lightly on the heels as you bounce. This kind of bouncing and shaking, it's a great strategy for us to just kind of let go a little bit of any accumulated tension and stress. Even within your Qigong practice, you need to shake the hands out between a movement or come back to the breathing. Other great ways to really shake out that stress. So let's bring our feet together. Deep inhale, bringing the hands together. Exhaling. Just gathering that oxygen, that energy that we need, bringing it deep inside ourselves. Inhale. Sending that chi, that energy, through all of the limbs, deep into the bones. And we're going to take our feet just about shoulder width apart, slight bend in the knees. And we're going to inhale, we're going to contract everything, curl up in a little ball, hold that breath just for a moment or two. Exhale, nice, easy sigh. Inhaling, as we contract, tense all the muscles, squeeze the fists, squeeze the toes, the legs, everything. Exhale. This is standing bear, crouches, and then releases. Inhale, contract. Exhale, release. A few more times. Contracting. We know today is the fall equinox. And we know that all of the animals tune in this time of the year. The changes in the weather, changes in the amount of light. Maybe they begin a migration, prepare for hibernation. And so we can take some cues as well. What's happening in our lives that we need to tune into. Do we need to rest, restore ourselves for what's coming up? Contracting, contracting. Big exhale. Last one. Contracting all the muscles, holding the breath, and releasing. I'm going to come a little closer. Hips, the feet are a little bit wider than the hips, really sinking down into our seat right here. And we're going to do a movement called two birds follow each other. You might know this movement as cloudy hands, but for today, I invite you to know it as two birds follow each other. A movement to help us find harmony, softness, equanimity. Redirect and manage all of that high energy from whatever stressful experiences we've had. Twisting at the waist here as you come to one side. You might inhale on the side as the birds turn. Exhale as the birds fly across the sky in the other direction. Just letting the movement of the birds follow your breath. Inhaling even longer, easier, deeper exhale. We sometimes think about stress as a mental state, something that happens in our brains, or that affects our thinking. But we know now that we embody stress, and our muscles store these experiences that we have. So if we're not really able to fully discharge that fight or flight reaction, it tends to stay with us. So we can use some of these strategies for relaxation, rejuvenation, resilience. Helping us to change our way of being from being chronically worried, anxious, or stressed, even if it's just something in the background. You're being aware of that. Using breathing and movement to work through that. Hands float down. Let the hands rest. Just take a couple of centering breaths right here. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. Half closed, leave them open. Take 3 breaths in. That's 1. And that's 2. And that's 3. Take the hands out to the side and inhale. So we lift the arms up as if we are a flying eagle. Hands come all the way to the top. And as we sink down, the hands float down. Inhale, our breath, the wind lifts up those wings. Exhale, the wings float down. This movement today is Eagle Test the Wind. Part of the Qigong of the animals is just being able to orient to what's happening around us and taking a moment, whether it's in movement or stillness, to really be mindful and aware of what we're experiencing. Testing the wind. Hands come up, we reach up, stretching the spine. Hands come down, exhale, sinking down. Couple more times. This time, when the hands come up, we're going to turn at the waist and then let the hands or the wings float down. Inhale, holding the breath just for a moment, noticing that moment. Wings float down. Inhaling, turning. And this movement today is Eagle flies through the mountains. Our animal strategy. After we test the wind, we know what we're dealing with. We are oriented. We can navigate. We don't have to flee or fight or freeze. We know that those are not our only choices. Inhaling, turning at the waist. Exhaling, wings float down. Inhale, noticing that pause between the inhale and the exhale. Wings float down. A couple more times. Inhaling, swirl at the waist. Wings float down. We fly through the mountains, navigating obstacles. Seeing the terrain, the lay of the land. Exhale, hands float down. Last time, inhale. Pausing as we turn. Exhale, the hands float down. Hands come to the sides. Let's bring our hands over the dantian, the lower abdomen. Take some deep breaths here. Even longer, exhale. Even just the breathing, the deep breathing, helps us shift from that fight or flight way of being to that rest and restore way of being. One last movement. Holding between our hands a ball of silk. We're working with that silk. Drawing one strand of that silk, pulling straight up as we straighten the spine. Hands come around, harmonizing. We compress as we exhale. Maybe we imagine that we are actually a silkworm. Inhale, hands turn, and we are silk reeling. It's one tiny creature connecting, harmonizing. Inhale, straighten, noticing the pause between the inhale and the exhale. Exhaling as we compress. Hands turn, sinking down. Two more. Hands come around. Last one. Inhale. And since it is the fall equinox today, I'm going to end with our standing tree meditation. So we're finding a comfortable posture where we're sitting down in our seat, less of a knee bend and more of just a really sinking down, sitting down with a straight posture. If you need to come up a little bit during this at any time, you certainly can. We bring our arms around as if we're hugging very old grandmother or grandfather tree. And I would just invite you to close your eyes for these last couple of minutes. Really just savor and enjoy your practice. We're going to begin at the feet. We're going to visualize our feet are rooted. Those roots are shooting deep into the earth, gathering any water, minerals, nourishment that we need for this firm foundation, for strength, for resilience, for rejuvenation. Feeling the energy of that nourishment travel up from the tips of our toes through the feet, up through the legs to the kneecaps, the legs, the hips, the torso. And just ending with several deep, easy breaths here. Resisting any urgency of what's next. Staying with sensation, just noticing. Feeling connected to the earth, grounded. When you're ready, you can let the hands drop. You can bring the feet back together. Taking a deep breath in. Bring the hands together. Ending the same way that we began. Sending that energy and that vitality to the four limbs. Harmonizing, getting in touch with that change of seasons. One last big breath in. Hands come down to the sides and relax. Thank you so much for joining me today with the Healer Within for our practice. And I look forward to seeing many of you again here on this page at the Healer Within, or join me for one of my practices, which you can find through this page as well.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was a beautiful practice, and we so appreciate you lending your time and talents here today. And we certainly hope that you'll come back and meet us in another practice sampler session again. We'd love to have you. I want to remind everyone, as Jill mentioned, you can find other practice information either here through links here at our Facebook page, or also at our website, which is healerwithinfoundation.org. Under the practice group tab at the top of our homepage, you'll find our virtual practice group listing, and that includes Jill's virtual classes as well. So do check those out. If you've missed any of our live practice sessions, you may now find them as well as Facebook, also over on the Foundation's YouTube channel. If you'll search on Healer Within Foundation there at YouTube, you'll find us. And do be sure to subscribe to our channel. That's very important to our growth and reach over there at YouTube. If you're leading an online practice group and wish to be added to our VPG list, or if you'd like to volunteer to lead one of these virtual practice sampler sessions like Jill did today, we would love to have you. If you just send us an email to admin@healerwithinfoundation.org, or send us a message here through Facebook, and we'd be delighted to discuss the opportunities with you. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Jill, for a beautiful practice to welcome this autumn equinox. We so appreciate it. And we hope to see you all back again here soon. Until we do, may all be well. Thank you.